When you're first introduced to a character, first impressions are incredibly important. It can make or break how the audience feels about them, whether you end up liking them or not. In many cases, that initial impressions become the foundation for how we judge the character moving forward. But what happens when a story intentionally gives us a bad first impression instead? What if the character initially comes across as someone we're supposed to dislike? Today, I'm going to talk about how Frieren Beyond Journey's End subvert those expectations and through great and efficient storytelling manage to turn that negative first impressions into something surprisingly compelling, making us like characters we originally thought we would hate in just a matter of minutes. And I'm gonna use Stark and Genau as the main example for this, since they both subvert our expectations in their own ways. The difference is that Stark's subversion happens almost immediately, while Genau's comes much later since we are first introduced to him. And I'll also use some other characters as well, but those two will be the main focus. Frieren Beyond Journey's End is a character-driven story, and I think that they're doing such a great job at making the audience love and care so much for the character in just a very short amount of screen time. And that is possible because of one, the storytelling, how they tell the story of their character. The story itself is actually very simple for the most part, and that doesn't mean it's bad. Like all the main cast has a very simple motivations for their journey. Take Fern for example. She just goes with Frieren because one, Hyder told her to, and then she becomes her apprentice and goes to heaven with Frieren. Then maybe there she will talk to Hyder and her parents. And then also later on in this exam arc, when Zenze asked her what she was gonna do with her life, she just said, I just wanna go with Frieren. Because seeing her happy makes me happy too. Honestly, very simple. Of course, her motivation can change with time, but anyway, let's talk about Star. The first time we get introduced to him is in the other half of episode 5. We get to know about him a little bit from this old lady. He was said to be the hero of their village. He saved the village from the dragon attack. We also get a little bit of information about him before. It's from this scene right here. It's a flashback when Frieren was talking to Eisen, and Eisen said that Stark was his apprentice. Up until this point, we as an audience are gonna be like, oh damn, Stark? Eisen's apprentice? Saved the village from the dragon. Well, he kept the dragon away from the village at least. The lady said that he must be really strong. He's a real deal. But when we confronted him, they hit us with this scene. We were like, oh, he's actually a coward. They make us think, is he going to be just a comedic relief or something like that? But then at the end of the episode, they kinda tease us his power a little bit. He is literally splitting the mountain. So we're like, you know what? Maybe he is kinda strong. He's just inexperienced and he just needs to resolve. After all, his fear is justified. It makes sense. He has zero fighting experience and the dragon is really strong. Even Fern and Frieren struggling to beat it. Although I think Frieren probably can, she just won't start to do it. But anyway, the episode ends there. That episode and the way they introduce Stark does a really great job at keeping us engaged. Like the party is literally about to fight the dragon. Will Stark fight the dragon? Is he strong? They kept us guessing and just made us want to know more about Stark. And in the next episode, he decided that he is going to fight the dragon. And just before the fight, we can see that his hands were trembling, the same way Aizen did. And before the fight begins, we get to know that Aizen is punching Stark out of reflex, because he was afraid of him, and he said that he will be an incredible warrior. Okay, so now we know that he is actually very, very strong. Strong enough that he should be able to hold the dragon off for 30 seconds, which was the plan in the first place. Buying enough time for Frieren and Fern to finish it off. What actually happened though? He just soloed the dragon. This dragon fight is just so amazing. How it's narrated and back and forth between the fight and the flashback from Aizen. How they build up the fight, hyping up Stark. It's just very well structured. And just for the icing on the cake, in this scene we got to know Stark's motivations for joining the party other than some crazy adventure. He wants to experience the journey in Aizen's shoe and come back to tell the story. He is just the goodest boy ever. Even though Aizen punches him, they part ways in anger. He doesn't care. His main motivation is still Aizen. And just like that, in 1.5 episodes, we got a very well established, well written character. Stark's introduction is the perfect example of how, by subverting our expectations and combining it with great, efficient storytelling, the show is able to make us, the audience, love their character really quickly. What initially looks like a simple joke about a cowardly warrior slowly turns into something much more interesting, as the story gradually reveals that Stark is far more capable than our first impression suggested. I mean, they make us think from, damn, Aizen's apprentice? He must be strong, into, maybe not. But you know what? He should be strong, right? Into, damn, he is actually strong for sure. Into, damn, he is him. He is that guy. It's just so perfect. And the reason why subverting expectations works really well in a story is because it keeps us engaged. It challenges our assumptions. And also, humans, we just like to be surprised. As long as it's earned and it makes sense. And the author does a really great job doing that in the show. And they are spamming the ever-living thing out of it. They do it with Denken, Richter, Verbal, Zirich, and it all works really well. And in this recent episode of Frieren Season 2, they are doing it again with Genau, a character that comes off like an asshole, seemingly doesn't care at all that the examinees are dying on the exam, turned out to be a really interesting character. He's a very complex one, I would say. I feel like you can interpret him in so many ways, and we can't really know for sure. One thing I know for sure though, is that he's a good person, as much as he said that he's not. He is still trying to protect the child, even though his brain says that there should be no child, but he still saved the child anyway. Also putting his code for Stark to minimize the bleeding, such an amazing character. And yeah, I like him a lot. So yeah, I think that's it. Just want to talk about it. I think Frieren does a really great job at subverting our expectations, even though it's only on a smaller scale. Like typically they do it with their character writing. But yeah, they're doing a really great job at making me like their character with a very little screen time. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.